Hi guys, this is Rosa Kelly. So today I'm here to do a little Arteza review and demo for you guys. So I have 3 products as you can see, and I've been wanting to do a bullet journal, but I am so into watercoloring right now, and I really wanted to create my own bullet journal so I can incorporate my watercolor pages. Also, I have here the Arteza watercolor Brio brush pens, and this is just so beautiful. I've always used their normal typical crayon watercolors, and I just really love how they work, how they blend. And then I always use their watercolor brush pencils here, because you can put water and they have different sizes. So I always use these to make my flowers and color my images as well. But I really wanted to play around with this one. This seems to be like the mix of the two, the watercolors and the brushes, and I'm just so excited about it. The product that I'm going to be testing out and showing you guys is the Everblend art markers, and these are alcohol based markers, and I picked the portrait tone so you can make different tones of skin and hair, and as you can see you get all those beautiful natural colors in there. So I'm going to be doing some color swatches for you guys. I'm also very excited to be playing with this watercolor pad. Now you get 2 pads on one package, and you get 32 sheets. Now let me say, this is 140-pound cardstock. So normally when I did my watercoloring, I always just use 110, and it was not watercolor paper, and the paper did wrinkle a little when it gets too wet. So I am so excited to finally have some actual watercolor paper. So what I want to do is create myself a little bullet journal. So to make my journal, I'm going to take some of these sheets apart. I want my journal to be quite chunky, so maybe I'll use about 10 of these pages. So these pages measure 12 by 9 inches, so I'm just going to score these on half to create the pages of my journal, and then I'm just gonna fold these, and I'm going to do the same to all of these pages. So after I fold my page in half, I'm going to trim this down to a traveler's notebook size. So I'm going to cut these at 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and I'm doing this as is already folded in half because I want to make sure this is going to be nice and even. And I'm going to do the same here for all the pages. Now the last page that I cut for each signature, I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. So I'll show you why. So instead of being 4 1/4, I'm going to do 4 1/8. And then I'm going to do 8 1/4 here as well. And I'll show you why I cut this one a little bit smaller. It's because after I layer 2, these are going to start growing to the side a little bit, as you can see. So by cutting this one a bit smaller, you're kind of avoiding that page from growing. So I'm going to do the same for my next group of 3, and then we're gonna do a little cover for these pages as well. So now I have my 4 booklets, and to make a cover for each one of these, I am going to just use some natural color cardstock, and this is craft color cardstock, and I am going to cut 4 pieces at 8 1/4 by 8 3/4, and I'm doing 8 1/4. That is the height of the page. So I'm just gonna cut all 4 pieces together, and then I'm going to do 8 3/4. So I'm doing 8 3/4 to make these a little bit bigger than my booklets. That way they are not going to come out. So now what I'm going to do is just simply fold these pages in half, just like that. Just gonna match the corners, and then I'm going to press down at the center, and this is going to be the cover for my booklet right there. To bind your booklets, we are going to use some needle and some twine, and then I'm going to poke 3 holes on the center of my pages. So I'm going to do one right here on the center, and then I'm going to do one in between the center and the edge, and then I'm going to do another one in between the center and the edge right there, like that. And then I'm going to pass my needle through. I'm going to start on the center just like that, and then I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to leave some space in here so this doesn't go all the way through. And then I'm going to go in from the top towards the inside. So I'm just going to make sure they are all lined up, and then we're just going to pull these through, and then we're going to go on the bottom, and then we're going to come in again to the center just like that, and then you just want to pull these through, and then we're going to cut right there and just make a double knot here on the center just like that. And that's how you make your booklets, and you are going to do the same for all 4 booklets. Another thing that you can do on your booklets is to round the corners. That will give it a more finished look if you like. So now I'm using this traveler's notebook from my stash, and this is like this pleather material, and I like how that feels. So this has 4 elastic pieces, so I'm just going to add each one onto one of these elastics as well. So I'm just going to do all 4 pieces. You don't need to have these traveler's notebooks to have your beautiful inspirational boards, but it sure makes it easy to take it with you anywhere. So now that I have my book ready, I am going to start decorating my page. So I am going to start looking at the Real Brush pens, and I really like all the different tones of greens that this has. Of course, they have all kinds of different colors, but I wanted to play with some leaves. So I'm going to be taking out some different green colors, and I'm going to start doing some swatches here on my watercolor paper. So I went ahead and started doing some swatches using the different tones of greens. I really love how easy to handle these pens are, and you can actually do a really fine tip, and then you can just swap it a couple times and you get a little bit more thickness and more color in there. So for my bullet journal, I wanted to do a very minimalist look, and so I'm just drawing some leaves on these brown blocks that I put on top, and I just want this to have a very earthy feel to it. So I'm not the best at coloring or drawing, but these markers really go very easily in your hands. They just slide right through, and it's really easy to make these leaf designs. I think it's one of the most simpler things to do. So I'm using the lighter green color, and then I'm going back with a little bit of a darker tone to just create the layers inside the leaves. So on the bottom, I also wanted to do some natural elements, so I'm just drawing some flowers in there using this really soft peachy pink color. I really like how it combines with the greens and the earthy tones. So for this bullet journal, I wanted to concentrate more into my goals and kind of have it as a tracker of my goals as well. So I just use that peachy pink color to create a background and a title for the list of the goals that I'm going to be adding. So I was really feeling the beautiful browns and green colors, so I just spent a little time sketching some different elements on my journal, and I just think that they were so fun to make, very easy to do. And again, like I said, I don't really draw that much, but these were simple enough for me to do, and I really like how they came out at the end. So I don't want this journal to be like a planner because I have a separate planner, but I did want it to include the month of July and just a little mini calendar in there, just so I know what day is when, like when it's Tuesday, when it's Wednesday, because I do want to have my little tracker on a Monday through Friday, and then I'm just going to be using some dots to kind of mark when my goal was done for the day or not. So on this other square, I'm just doing a Monday through Friday, and I'm just leaving those empty squares, and I'm just going to be adding some dots on there as I complete my goals. Okay, so I finished playing with the real brush pens, and I can definitely say that I'm in love with these pens. They are so easy to use compared to using, the watercolor pencils and the brushes. These are just a lot quicker, and I just love how the color dilutes itself, and it just looks a little bit natural and just very, very pretty. So the colors that I mainly use are these. This is the peach color. Then I really like these the green tea, And then for the darker green, I use the olive green. And then for the brown, I will use this wine red. So this was my main color scheme for this spread. And what I wanted to do for my bullet journal here is just keep track of my goals. And I just have here a goal tracker. So that's how I intend to use my bullet journal. I don't want this to be a planner of events because I have a separate planner. So I want this to be mainly my goals and tracking my goals, and I'm thinking on doing like a mood tracker here as well. But I am really happy with how this looks. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. So you get 36 different colors, and I love how these are all natural colors. As you can see, the ones that are the skin tones, and it looks like a really beautiful variety of colors here. So I am going to start doing some swatches, and again I'm just gonna use one of my journals here to kind of play around with color and see what I like and create like a color palette for future projects. So as you know, I'm always very into the pinks and the neutrals, so this set right here is like perfect for my taste. So I'm going to start with the A601, which is the quartz white, and again you get 2 tips. So you get the normal marker tip, and then you have these other ones. So I'm going to try this one and see how the color looks. I'm just going to create a little swatch right here. Oh, I love how soft this color is. Very, very pretty, very natural color for skin. So let's see how my swatches look. I really love the quality, and you pass it one time and you get those beautiful strokes, and I love that. So now I'm going to try some of these browns right here. So let's take a look how the brown colors look like. And I just love how they are very similar, but they all have different depths and different tones on the same brown color scheme. So yeah, so I'm going to name my colors here so I know exactly what color to refer to when I want to do some coloring pieces. I think I'm going to be doing some mixing of colors. For example, to create my color palettes, for now I will probably do this peachy pink over here and this green one over there and mix those two with like a darker brown. So after I have all my colors sample, I can go back and mix 3 colors and then make that my color scheme for my vision board. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video of me reviewing the quality of the papers, how I use the Arteza brush pens, and how I do my color swatches to later on create a vision board and just mix some beautiful colors and use that for future projects. So I'm going to leave the link to Arteza where you can find these products and you can create a vision board for your own, a little bullet journal, and use these beautiful watercolor pages as well. And so yeah, I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.